Guys, I'm Coach Tasha Delk.
I'm Cleo the coach. What's going on?
Yes, and we are here to talk to you guys about holding the goodies.
Yes.
All right.
Celibacy in 2023.
Yes.
So, is it possible?
Is it possible? Is it possible?
I think a lot of people would think that it's impossible, just based on just the amount of over-sexualized things that we see, just in social media, now on TV. It's getting crazy. So I think people would have the assumption that it's impossible, but it's definitely possible.
It's definitely possible. We definitely know that it's possible.
Yes.
And so before we even get into that, we're talking to wives in waiting. We're talking to husbands in waiting. So singles. We are talking to newlyweds, as we are newlyweds.
Yes, we are.
And then we're also talking to those who have been married for a while. We hope that you guys can learn something. As my husband say, you can learn from anyone. And so that's just wisdom. All right, so excuse our kids. Y'all know we got a bunch of them. All right, so we're going
to bug with it.
So we're going to jump right into this thing. So the first thing that we like to say is that will help you guys to practice celibacy is the fact of having somebody who is like-minded.
Yes.
You know, having someone who truly has the same path that you have, who truly has the same mindset and goals that you have, and especially regarding your intimacy and, well, not just intimacy, celibacy, excuse me. What are your goals with the celibacy? You know, do you plan to get married in 6 months? Do you plan to get married in 1 year? Do you plan to get married within 2 years? And then also knowing why you're being celibate, you know,
what's the big picture?
Yeah, what's the big picture? And just knowing. So the first thing that we want to talk about is integrity.
Yes.
You know, integrity is something.
Just good character, just the good character of a person.
Absolutely.
In general, it should be the number one for sure. It's just making sure you're dealing with somebody that has integrity. Because it's going to be big in not just the celibacy process, but this person moving forward in general.
Who are you? Who are you in your life? And the way that you are in your life is how you'll be in your relationship.
Sure.
So if you don't have integrity and you lack integrity, that's something that's going to show in your relationship. But then also the ability to have self-control.
Sure.
You know,
strong willpower is major, especially in the celibacy walk, because you're gonna be tested. There's gonna be temptations, and so you gotta know, is the person I'm dealing with have that level of self-control that I can move forward with.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then the last one is gonna be respect.
RESPECT.
Does the person that you're dating, do they have enough respect to, you know, wait for you?
For themselves.
Exactly. Do they have enough respect for themselves? Do they have enough respect, God bless you, to wait for you? You know, and the thing about it is, the importance is that you guys are going to grow so much closer throughout this intimacy process. You're going to grow closer. You're going to grow on a deeper level with one another. You're going to know each other in a different way that's going to require that reverence, that's going to require you two to respect each other and on a deeper level.
And this is not something that happens overnight. You don't get to know about these things just from someone telling you, yeah, I'm a man of good character, I do this, so it's not a talking thing. It's a learning experience. You have to go through things. And that's why dating is so important, and walking through this journey. Celibate is so important, so you can really understand, does this person fit these qualities?
After respect, and so now we're gonna move into the second way that you can be able to remain celibate, and that's gonna be setting boundaries.
Yes, gotta set boundaries.
Absolutely. And I think even just in dating, most women, we don't set boundaries. And that just gives
men don't set boundaries either.
Well, yeah, I just feel like people...
We be going in. It's no... I think it's just a given. I think, not me speaking of me, I'm just speaking in men. No, I think it's a given that sex is just on the table. Once we get past certain communication levels and we dated it. We went on X amount of dates. It's like sex is a given, I think, and that I feel like that's the first part where we go wrong at.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree on that. And then it's just like I don't think people understand the fact of setting boundaries and then not setting those boundaries. It just gives the okay that this is what it is.
No, for sure.
You know, and then I think that people just don't speak up. So setting those boundaries allow you to communicate and understand what it is that you want from that person, or what it is that you need them to
expectations.
Absolutely, expectations, but also just them to know what's flying and what's not flying.
For sure.
You know, and I think that we fail to have those boundaries, and it shows in every area of our lives. I feel like
the first boundary that has to be set when dating is the moving in process. Like, I feel like we move in too fast as a society, and we don't take the time to really get to know the person that we're even moving in with. And I feel like that's the number one key into setting boundaries in celibacy, is to keep each other's space.
Absolutely.
I think we did well on that.
Yeah, we did.
Even though it was
long distance stuff.
I feel like we still had the ability to shorten the distance. We had that communicate. We had that talk.
Yeah,
and
we
so
did definitely.
We made the decision to make sure we kept each other's space, and so it was easier for each of us to be able to do that.
So it was like when we met, and then we was just like, so we had communicated.
Why don't you tell them like our celibacy talk? It was like,
So like, so when we first connected, it was like, I believe that God is wanting us to do something different. And then so it was like we both got the same revelation on the same day. So he came to me and was like,
even though I felt led to, not to cut you off, before I even met the queen, I even took the steps first to even take myself out of the sexual encounters while I'm dating, just so I can have a better understanding of the women that I'm dating. What's the goal? Because I was ready to be settled down. Like, that was I knew that in my mind, but it was like, okay, where is it? What does this woman look like? Not necessarily look like, but more so inside than out. And it's where are the characters, where her characteristics, what type of mother is she, where is she spiritually. So I already had an idea of kind of the woman God is going to bless me with. And so when this amazing woman, when we connected, it was more so, I don't want to ruin this naturally or spiritually. So let me take even more of a intentionality to make sure that we're not moving too fast, that we're not, that we're doing things according to the way God really desired us to be.
Yeah, and I think that we should just wait. I know that God wants us to do something different, and we want to get something different from this. So God, the words that God spoke to me was, if you want to get something different, you have to do something different. And so when we came to each other and we had that discussion, and he was like, yeah, I was feeling the exact same way. So, and then we kind of just opened up a little bit more about that. And then it's like, once we actually met in person,
the sparks
and
flew.
it was just amazing. It was crazy.
It was like a movie for real.
And so after like meeting each other and then being able to spend that time with each other, it was like when we left each other, it was like we were like broken, y'all. We was so toe up.
And it was even harder because the place we chose to go on our first date and really spend time with each other was on like an Airbnb couples thing. So we slept in the same bedroom. So just the closeness, the intimacy was inevitable. And so that made it even more harder. I feel like, because of how much chemistry we had, the anticipation on meeting each other. It was a lot.
It was amazing. And so it was, so like even after that, it was like, so once we left each other, it was like, I was like, we should just move in together. You should just come here. We was making all these plans, just talking crazy, right? Just like we gonna get married.
God was nowhere in there with all flesh talking.
Let's just do it right now.
No, for sure.
But it was like,
he was ready.
We had to like take time, you know, recoup, and then come back. Like, we was talking crazy. We was just in our emotions, you know. And so that's something that's extremely important too. Is like making sure that you're not in your emotions and submitting your emotions to God. And so, but with that, setting those boundaries, we had to be able to come back and say, okay, that's not in the plans. That's not it. We tripping. We trying to move too fast, and that's not, you know, what God really wants for us. So
the next thing in setting boundaries, I feel, would be don't put, the initial connection was putting ourselves in a compromising situation.
Yeah.
And so I think the next thing in setting boundaries is making sure you don't put yourself in compromising situations as far as spending the night with one another, getting in hotel rooms, just taking things, putting yourself in settings where you're able to take it too far.
Right.
And I feel like that's key. And even long distance, we saw each other every month. That was number one on our dating list, is to make sure that we connected at least once a month. So we made sure that we did that. And the time that she came to Illinois, which that's where she's originally from anyway, but the time that she came to visit me, I think a couple times you had to get a hotel, right?
Yeah.
And so instead of me going back to my apartment, I'm spending the night at the hotel with her, and we're not gonna lie, sometimes things went further than they should have went.
Right.
We never totally disrespected each other in what we wanted to do and the things and what God had purpose for us. However, we did.
It was so like I'll speak on it because like when we had set the date. We had set the date for our wedding. It had been like 30 days since we had seen each other. So it was like so many things. We were like anticipating seeing each other. And then I ended up getting a hotel room. And then my husband come. He was my fiance at the time. And so it was like,
was engaged then?
Yeah, we were already engaged. We were already engaged. We were like not that far away from the wedding. And so after, so it was like, I mean, y'all, when I say it was so intense, it was like the passion was so high, and it was just like, okay, my husband was like, yeah, no, we taking this too far, right? And so it was like, if he would have not been strong enough, it was going down, okay, if he wasn't strong enough, but it was just a simple, But the thing about it is, though, is like having somebody that's like-minded, they're going to be stronger than you sometimes. And you're going to be stronger than them sometimes. And we had those scenarios. And so we're not going to lie. We're not going to make it seem like it's just...
Picture perfect. Everything was...
No. It was intense. And it was hard. So if you have somebody who really isn't on that same track as you, it's easy to get thrown off. Because and initially, like... as human beings and as two people, God created us to be intimate with one another. And so that is a way of life. That is the way that God created us. Naturally. So it's not anything wrong with it. And so that's what we also want to be able to stress is that there's nothing wrong with intimacy. There's nothing wrong with having sex. It's just in the way that you do it. It's the way how you do it, who you choose to do it with, who you choose to give that part of yourself with. And the reason why we say this is because it's such a spiritual act. And even, and I don't know if I'm going too deep, but even as a spiritual act, like, and this is kind of private, but as when we did have the opportunity on like our honeymoon, we could feel our souls grabbing at each other, if that makes sense. And it's like it's so much more spiritual than what we make it. We just have sex carelessly. So in this situation, it was so hard, but my husband was able to be strong in it. I mean, y'all, it's been times where I would say even, you know, just on my end, that I'd be like, no, we ain't gotta do this. We ain't gotta be celibate. But it's just, look, I'm just being honest. And so it was like, if my husband didn't have enough integrity and respect, that he wanted to wait for me, you know. And so even though I wanted to wait for him too, but it was like in those moments, you know, you get weak and you need that other person to act out in their strength.
It kind of segues into the next one though.
Yeah,
just
but
being intimate without having sex. I think
yes,
it's
being
important
intimate without
and setting boundaries. You have to create
intimacy.
You have
without,
to be. I feel like it's ways to be romantic and things to do without crossing the line, without stepping into
absolutely
that scenario. You know, so it's. I think,
and that goes along with just not being in the compromising situations. It's like making sure that you can still be intimate without putting yourself in a compromising situation, because it's so easy to take things to the next level. And if you're not, and the first thing that the enemy wants to do is first break the vow to God and then to each other, you know. And so I had to go like we had to literally like pray, like get down on our knees and pray in the midst of everything. I was talking with my pastor. I'm like, we almost did it. We almost, you know, and I was just pouring out to my pastor, and he was just like, you know, it's in your trying.
In your heart.
And God knows your heart. And it's in your trying that God respects what you're doing. And he sees, like, we don't went this far, you know, and we still haven't given in, but we almost did.
So
I'm telling y'all. And so it's just a simple fact of just being able to have somebody who's with you that can set those boundaries, that can stand on it, that can be strong when you're weak, that can be able to, you know, be able to have that integrity and respect for you. And then the last one.
That was in setting boundaries. That was the intimacy was the last one.
Yeah, so intimacy and just making sure you're having intimacy without.
And it's important. Intimacy is important. You need to know that I have that type of connection with this person. So we're not telling you not to be intimate at all. Definitely the holding, the kissing, if it's not going to lead to where to other things. But being intimate and being close is extremely important, because you want to know that you have that connection with the person.
Absolutely.
And so that's definitely big.
And we also talked about intimacy, so y'all can go and check out our intimacy video. We did talk about different ways to be intimate while dating and in relationships and things like that. So that's something else. And so for the last thing though, it's also making sure that you stay focused. The last key is staying focused on your own goals. And a lot of time, go ahead,
babe. No, I was going to just elaborate more so on staying focused, is making sure that you're pretty much staying busy and not just moving with no purpose, but making sure that you're staying focused on what your individual purpose
productive
is
a better word instead of just productive. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that was pretty much what I was just elaborating on what that was.
Just being productive on your goals and your inspirations. And like, because a lot of times we tend to focus on everything. When we get in a relationship, we put our eggs into one basket, and we don't necessarily focus on the things individually. So being able to stay in that individual lane and focus on yourself and focus on the things that you really desire, the desires of your heart, things that you really want to do, and then also your mate being able to do those things and focus on their own self, and then bringing those things together. It allows you guys to keep that individuality while bringing things together and being close with each other, and then also having that teamwork and that togetherness and other things, because there's some things that I have to support my husband in, but there's some things that my husband also has to support me in, and they're both on our individual paths, and then we also have things that we desire to bring together. So you have to be able to have those separate things that keep you focused and keep you productive, so that you're not always feeling so, you know, putting so much energy into that relationship that will put you in compromising situations.
Because I fall victim to putting my all into a relationship and kind of getting lost in myself, really, and knowing
losing yourself in the other person.
No, for sure. We're lost.
Because you said lost in myself.
We're losing myself.
Yeah.
A lot, you know.
Well, yeah, I guess that's
so because I'm putting my all into the relationship. I'm not making time for me. I'm not allocating the things that God has purposely designed for me, because it might not require my partner in that. But she, like you said, it has to be a support. It has to be a balance there.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like that's very important. You're staying focused on your individual journeys.
Absolutely.
And letting them merge. For sure.
So even in our marriage, that's something that we do. We have some things individually that we like to do, and then we also have things that we do together. And we spend a lot of time together. And so
we just started working out together.
Yeah, so it's like we find different things to be able to do together. So it's like I have an individual goal for my weight loss, and then he has an individual goal for his weight gain, you know. And
for example,
so
she used to walk in the mornings. I wasn't up that early to get up and go walk. And so she also did other things to keep herself fit. And I'm more of an aggressive in the gym, push-ups, pull-ups, and she not really on that type of time when it comes to working out. So we had to find a median to where, okay, we can do these type of workouts together and we're still accomplishing the goal.
Yeah, you know? without having to
spend that time separately.
Yeah, we have each other to encourage, you know, encourage and support each other while we go through. So that was a good example, babe. I appreciate that.
For sure.
But yeah, so guys, this is a wrap for Destined to Dealt.
Yeah.
Go back and watch some of our other videos. Please like, comment, and share. Let us know your thoughts, because we're always open to other. Yes, absolutely. Subscribe. We're open to other people's opinions and thoughts, because you know it helps us to have a different perspective as well.
Sure.
So,
and if you have any other feedback, like maybe it's something that we missed, maybe it's something that you feel is not possible for you to be celibate, and you have some
23, babe.
What I say?
I want to hear you say it right.
2023. If you don't feel like it's possible, leave a comment. We'll comment back with you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I'm Coach Tasha Delk.
I'm Cleo the coach.